Three matchups against Navy highlight this weekend's action. We'll start here at West Point as the basketball teams host a doubleheader inside Crystal Arena. The women's star game tips off at noon. Head coach Dave McGarity says this season's games with Navy go beyond who sings their alma mater second.
For us this year, it's been a very meaningful game. You know, the first time we played, we went into that game 2-0 in league play, and now we're currently on a 3-game winning streak, tied for second with Navy and Lehigh. So it has huge implications for seeding in the Patriot League tournament, and obviously it goes without saying it is the star game.
The men's game follows at 2:30 p.m. Following a tough loss Wednesday night, head coach Zach Spiker says his team will be ready for the Mids.
It's a big game, it's an emotional game, and that brings a whole other set of challenges for our players to respond. And bottom line, it's a great opportunity. And as much as this stinks right now, and this feeling is not what you want to have after a game, hopefully it is an experience that will help us grow for these young guys and help us be more prepared and ready to execute on offense and defense this Saturday.
Down in Annapolis, the gymnastics team returns to competition after 2 weeks off. Head coach Doug Van Everen says the Black Knights need to stay dialed in no matter what the scoreboard says.
We're putting up 36 routines, and they all count. And so, you know, the bottom line is it's not over till it's over. And one of the things that, you know, you try to teach the kids is to, like, you know, it is indeed 36 routines, and so as things go up and down throughout the competition, you want to stay focused and make sure you're doing your job all the way up until the last guy goes, and then we'll see where we're at.
The calendar might say February, but two spring sports open their seasons on Friday. The lacrosse team starts their 95th season by hosting UMass at 3 p.m. Head coach Joe Alberici knows the Minutemen will come to Michie Stadium ready to play.
They are extremely well coached. I got a tremendous amount of respect for Greg Cannella, who's been doing it now for quite some time at UMass and is a UMass grad and you know, has a great tradition, a great family there. And so they'll be well coached on top of playing very hard. And I think you're going to see a real experienced group, you know, both offensively and defensively.
Down south, the softball team will take part in the Red and Black Showcase hosted by the University of Georgia. The Black Knights will play the host Bulldogs, Utah State, Campbell, North Carolina State, and St. John's over the weekend. Here's head coach Michelle DePolo.
Our objective is starting early, knowing that if we want to get to postseason, this is the type of teams that we're going to have to play and compete with. So we want to set a tone, start off challenging, really enjoy the competition. Whatever happens, happens. It's all about the process, and then we're just kind of let the chips fall, and what's going to come from it is what we use. Regardless of what the results are, it's how we're going to use it to apply to the rest of the season.
It's a busy weekend at the Lichtenberg Tennis Center as both the men's and women's teams will host triple headers. After sweeping last weekend's three opponents, the women's team looks to keep the momentum going against Stony Brook, UConn, and Fordham. Head coach Paul Peck, who picked up his 300th win last weekend, says there is a definite advantage to playing at home.
You know the courts and the lighting, and you'd be surprised. There are variations from place to place, so it's nice to have a consistency of knowing what you're playing on, and it's nice to be able to go back to your room. And then we have some pretty nice amenities here, so between matches we're able to hang out and pretty comfortable. So we're looking forward to it.
Meanwhile, the men's team will also square off with Stony Brook and UConn while also taking on Vassar. Head coach Jim Poling says his team is focused on doubles play this week.
In both our matches, we got swept in the doubles, and in both matches had opportunities to win a bunch of them. And we just got to stay focused and keep moving. Doubles is all about moving and taking the net and cranking some big volleys and overheads. And we get ahead and we just kind of play a little tentative. So we worked the net all week. I'm anxious to see what happens.
After beating UConn Tuesday night, the hockey team is riding a 3-game win streak. This weekend, they welcome Holy Cross to Tate Rink. As the season starts to wind down, head coach Brian Riley says his senior class will be key.
We've been talking a lot about them lately, and I've said it more than once. Hey, seniors, you know what? We're going to ride you guys. You guys have been through this. I think they all kind of understand. You know what? There is not a date that we can circle on the calendar that says, you know what, that's their last day playing Army hockey. So they need to take advantage of every opportunity that they that they have. And so certainly I think they've done a real good job the last few games stepping up and leading this team.
Friday night will be the final tune-up for the Army track and field teams before next weekend's Patriot League championships. Even though his team came up short against Navy, head coach Troy Engle says there were still strong performances turned in by the Black Knights.
Our kids ran hard, so we had a lot of kids come out of the Navy meet as well, tired. Luckily, no injuries. We're pretty healthy, but we asked them to do a lot because we didn't have the breadth to cover some of these events. We asked kids to run multiple events, and they were showing it early part of the week. But we had a good first couple of days. Truthfully, this weekend, we're not looking for huge performances. This is fine-tuning for us.
With this week's weekend preview, Rick Johnston, ITT Excellus Night Vision.